Loose. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Disturbing Reasons to Be Afraid of the Dark. Yes. Okay, if you haven't watched Bobby Mackey's Music World, the one I recorded last week, go ahead and go check that one out. And if you haven't yet listened to Pavilion Island, go check that out too. I have them all in a little playlist. So go ahead and go check it out. I believe it's 4 parts. I think anyone would really enjoy it, especially if you want to get really spooked out and scared. And it is a true story. So go ahead and check that out. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you are watching this, I really appreciate it. I upload every single day. But today we're going to be talking about Carla Larson's experience and the entities haunting Bobby Mackey's Music World. Now, I told y'all the murders that happened and what Bobby Mackey's Music World was before it was Bobby Mackey's and all that other stuff. But this time I'm gonna be talking about the accounts, like what people experience when they go there. And I have one or two more true paranormal investigators went and what they caught and what they went through. I have that also. And I just want to kind of touch base on that a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started, and I'll explain to you why I don't have too much on Carla Larson. Lawson. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Okay. The reason why I don't have a lot on Carl is because I found an author wrote a book about him. And I was gonna just take bits and pieces, like I read it, and I was just gonna like sum it up into my own words. But then I read the author's beginning prologue, the beginning part, and it said no copyright of any kind, like even if I read it and then took what I wanted out of it, like, and reworded it, that is still copyright to them for that book. She didn't want it in any way taken from what she wrote and reworded or reprinted or taken and put it on YouTube or anything. Like, I even contacted her. She didn't want anything like that. So I could not do it. And there was a lot in there. I really was hoping on taking a little bit from it and giving it to y'all. But I cannot because she won't let me. But I will. There on YouTube, there's 4 videos of Carla Larson's exorcism, and if you haven't checked that out yet, go ahead and go check that out. That is on YouTube, and I'll post a link down below in the description so that way y'all could go check it out if you so much as desire to do it. If I watched it, if you want to, you can. It's kind of disturbing a little bit, not too much. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's a good education for educational purposes, kinda, I guess. I don't know if that's rude, but if you interested in exorcisms or any of this, go ahead and go check it out. It's pretty interesting, and it's really kind of depressing in a way, because that poor guy, he went through all that. I feel so bad for him. I do. And then he passed away, if y'all did not know, a couple years ago, and it's really sad that he had to go through all that. And I think he was still going through it before he passed away, because then the autopsy was kind of oopsie-doopsie, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I have a little bit of Carla Larson right here, and then I'm going to give you the reported entities and the incidents that happened at Bobby Mackey's when someone's there. Okay. Carla Larson was the caretaker of Bobby Mackey's since the beginning. He stayed in the upstairs apartment of the club. He was possessed by Alonzo Walling and some of the other spirits as well. An exorcism of Carl and the entire building took place on August 8, 1991. It was performed by the Reverend Glenn Coe and was witnessed by Hensley, who also recorded it all on videotape. You can find all 3 parts of the exorcism on YouTube. Like I just told you, you can find them all on YouTube. And I just wanted to remind you, and I'll put that down to remind you I wasn't supposed to read it. Oops, beginner problems. But anyway, yeah. So go ahead and go check that out. And one part I wanted to say that I did read in the book, and maybe I'm not supposed to say anything, but I hope she takes this as some kind of advertisement for her book. It was, what I read, it was really good, and it matched everything that Carl said, that Bobby's wife said, and all that other stuff, and his daughter, it matched from everything that I've read about it, that I've seen on A Haunting, on all that stuff, like everything that he's talked about in newspapers and all that other good stuff. So everything that he said, it was all true that I could find in the book. But when he was trying to protect Bobby Mackey's wife, and he was fed up with them trying to hurt her, and he was just done. And the point where he got possessed, if you remember, he kept having a dream of a bat biting him, and it happened. He was going in the basement or something. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't want to copyright it, if you know what I'm saying. But if I'm wrong, please correct me. It bit him, and then he felt it, and he was hearing voices, and he couldn't sleep correctly. And when he would try to go to sleep, they would talk to him, and he would wake up, and he couldn't sleep. And that's one of the main stages of possession, is when they deprive you of sleep. They make you weaker and weaker until you are vulnerable enough for them to do whatever they want, and you'll do whatever they want. Whatever they want. So it's kind of compelling, but go ahead and go check the book out. It was written by Hensley. It's pretty good. I mean, it's downloadable to your phone. So if you just type in Carla Larson, The Exorcism of Carla Larson, it'll pop right up, and you can download it to your phone and read the whole book without any problems. And it doesn't take up much space, because I downloaded it and I don't have much room. But let me finish. The reported spirits haunting Bobby Mackey's. A ghost of a dog and a fireman has sometimes been observed near a red couch by the side of the main stage. A shadowy figure seen moving in the back of the room is thought to be the ghost of Paul Goodman, who was beaten to death in the nightclub. Coin machines go off by themselves. A spirit named George, who loved to bowl and is one of the individuals that Mackey bought the building from, committed suicide and also killed a man by the name of William, throwing his body in the nearby river. In the area by the coin machine, batteries often drain unexpectedly and cameras malfunction. Ghosts abound in the old cash room, and speaking in Italian or German can often bring them out. Johanna's ghost is often experienced in the catwalk, sometimes getting right up into people's faces. The ghost of little Timmy is also experienced, as well as other shadow people and a ghost waiter. That's weird. In the men's room, trash cans have been thrown up against the walls, and several gentlemen using the facilities have been beat up by the spirits, sometimes finding themselves thrown up against the walls. Faucets often turn on without human assistance. In the basement's walk-in cooler, chairs are often thrown at people, and an inexplainable face of an old man sometimes appears. Timmy's ghost sometimes appears as a full-body apparition in the tunnel room. In the Wall of Faces room, people have heard the sounds of growling, being scratched, have been possessed, and lots of weird pictures have been taken there. In the Wall room, the apparitions of Alonzo Whaling and Scott Jackson have been encountered there in the past. These are the real accounts of the paranormal Bobby Mackey's. They call themselves the Ghost Research Society. I will not use their names, only their experiences. So I won't use the real names of the Paranormal Society. I'll just use their I switched it up. Like, instead of when they say the name, I'll say she or he or something like that, or I'll say they, instead of using their names, because I don't want to put them out there like that. Like, even though it's on the internet, like, if you want to go see it, like, if you type in Carla Larson, you will find it right away. No problems. I mean, there's many articles about people going to investigate and find their experiences and all that other stuff. Okay, and this is exactly like when you know how if you're on a paranormal investigation, you write 10 p.m. and you write what happened and you write who was with you. If you're a paranormal investigator, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, let me get started before we run out of time. We began our first EVP session in Carl's apartment at 10 p.m. As I entered the room, I felt extremely uneasy, and after I sat down, I began to feel heaviness in my chest. The heaviness in my chest didn't dissipate until I reached the bottom of the stairs. Shortly after we began, we all heard a thud that came from above, as followed by footsteps. We then heard a thud in the left-hand corner of the room. I also heard a knocking sound coming from the bathroom towards the end of the session. Everyone ventured over to the Wall of Faces room to investigate. It was 79 degrees Fahrenheit. The Obulus X said Kelly. And happens. Shortly after we began the EVP session, the ghost box was in use during the session, and they asked, "Do you want us to leave?" The response was, "Please, then leave." They asked, "Why? Where are you from?" The response was, "Us." They asked, "Where in the U.S. are you from?" The response I got was, "East." East was repeated a few times during the session. They asked, "Are we annoying you?" The response was, "No." They started to talk about the toys they had put out and began saying that we could play. And shortly after that, something lightly began to touch my arm. I felt a cold spot to the left of me shortly after being touched. Later on, I did see a shadow person dart from one side to the other near the bathroom hallway. That is crazy. But that is very good evidence. And like I said, there's a lot more to it, but a lot of it was just just them seeing things and then feeling stuff. I mean, they didn't have no pictures, so I wasn't gonna read y'all the whole thing without putting y'all all the pictures. But if you want to go check it out, like I said, just type in Carla Larson and you'll find anything you want. And before I go, I want to talk about Ghost Adventures. If you watch Ghost Adventures, you watch the new episode. If you haven't, spoiler alert, click off now because I'm about to spoil it for you. At one point, they were at this, oh my god, I should have wrote down the hospital they were at. But anyway, if you didn't watch it, then I'm not going to spoil it for you. They were at a location and they were watching this man sleep for hours because he said he kept getting attacked while he was sleeping. So Zach wanted to watch him while he slept and see what was going on. And they got amazing evidence. Like I said, if you don't agree with Ghost Adventures, I'm sorry, because everyone to each his own. If you like it, you don't, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about this anyway. But anyway, they got extraordinary evidence. Like every time the thing would pick up hand, he touched his arm. Every time it said finger, he moved his finger. And every time like he would say get up, like the thing would say get up, the man would get up. It was very crazy. And at one point, Zach and Aaron went investigate the upstairs, where the man was asleep. At the bottom stairs, the man was sleeping. They went upstairs so they wouldn't disturb him. And when he was upstairs, they caught some very crazy EVPs, and they were listening back to one of the EVPs, and I heard it. A lot of other people did because I read the comments, and you can go watch it on YouTube. Just type in Ghost Adventures Season 15, and someone was very sweet enough, and whoever that is, thank you very much. I really appreciate it because I was tired of hearing the ugly voices. They kept changing their voices. But anyway, they ran back the EVP session because crazy things were happening, like I said. But they ran the EVP session back, and when they did that, you can clearly hear, "I want to kill Zach Bagans." And Zach got really pissed off at Aaron because Aaron said that that's what it said, and Zach didn't agree with him. Now, I clearly heard, and many other people that were watching the show at the time heard them say that. Now, he got really upset at Aaron. I felt very bad for him because Aaron's always going to do all kind of stuff that Zach doesn't want to do. He's always telling Aaron what to do, and he does it without any questions. Sometimes he might get upset, but he still does it. He has the balls to do it, excuse me. But Zach didn't want to do it. It doesn't never want to do it. But Zach got really upset with him. He didn't want to be around him. I felt really bad because I think Zach was being a prick. Because the EVP clearly said that. And if you didn't hear it, I would love to hear what you think it said. I am not that kind of person. I'm not going to argue with you. But it's what I heard. And I've reviewed EVPs, my own EVPs, a million times. And it's hard work. Like, you have to listen to it over and over and over. And me and my little boy, like, he watches with me. I don't care if you don't agree. But he loves stuff just as much as I do. And I loved it when I was little. Me and my dad used to watch it. That's what I'm into now. But we watched it. And he said, "Mama, that's what it said." I said, "I know." And you could clearly hear them say, maybe it didn't say the Bagans part, but it said Zach. And it was just very compelling evidence. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode. And please stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to be doing something special. And don't forget, Slime Sundays. Go watch the videos. And remember, my Nikki Loos, stay scared, my Nikki Loos.